Want more proof that the mainstream media in Canada is filled with propagandists or mental midgets? Look no further than, once again, another Globe and Mail article. Headline: The Ontario Liberals are trading cash for access. How is that even legal? By the Globe and Mail. I mean, think about it. How is that, by the editorial board, no less? How is that even legal, they ask? Let's ponder on that for just, well, I mean, for anyone that actually has a fucking critical mind, you know, in that cranium on top of my shoulders, like myself. Let's see. Who writes the laws? Oh, right. Governments. Political parties get to write the laws. Oh, and yet it's not illegal for them to do these things. Wonder how that could happen. I mean, really though, Globe? Holy fuck. Why do you want to keep the masses? Why do you want to keep Canadians so fucking stupid and indoctrinated into your religious... Oh, that's right too. You fuckers get to fucking live off of the wealth that Canadians produce, so I suppose you don't want to rock the boat too much, right? Even though you recognize that you're supposed to be, what, the fourth or fifth estate, whatever kind of bullshit status paradigm that you function in, where you're supposed to be holding your central planning overlords to account, you're not doing a very good job. You're not doing a very good job. All of you fucks, you use your little soft, gentle baby touches when you're talking about people that commit the most vile and despicable acts in any geographical landmass. You wonder why fucking nobody respects you? You wonder why people like in the U.S. or Canada, you wonder why any populist, you wonder why fucking Rob Ford was so popular? You wonder the most popular fucking politician in Canada was Rob Ford. Deal with it, recognize it, suck it up, buttercup. Same with the U.S. You wonder why fucking Donald Trump's doing so well? Because all Canadians, all Americans, everyone around the world that has a critical thinking mind or even a slight amount of compassion or analytical mind in any way, shape, or form, oh, they hate you motherfuckers because they recognize and realize you're all just a bunch of lying propagandist bullshitters. That's what it really comes down to. And the fact that you're going to put a fucking article out here in this fucking, once again in 2016 in the information age, you dumb fucks, you still haven't come along to recognize and realize that, you know, I mean, they all haven't caught up yet. We get, yeah, you're still talking to some retards. I get that, some indoctrinated morons. But eventually they will all come to realize how fucking stupid their bullshit past ideologies and how foolish they were for going along to get along. But you still want to keep propagating that shit, do you? Yeah, well, I know where you fucks are coming from. So you can pretend that you try to speak truth to reason or being even remotely objective in your reporting. Bull fucking shit. We all know you're still working in the statist paradigm. Of course the governments are going to fucking... If you are the fucking person that gets to write the laws, what kind of idiot, first of all, to become someone that goes into central planning and government, you have to be a sociopath right away because you want to control and dictate people's lives and make that your career choice. And the people that are going to be willingly and cheerleading making their career choice as a propagandist, as a bullshitter, as an oppressor, as part of the ruling class. Oh, I wonder what? Somehow you think those fucking vile, despicable people are going to somehow... Oh, but we should now act morally? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Well, I know what's wrong with you. It's all up here. You've been indoctrinated into your religion so deeply. Academia, the public education system, that's what's wrong with you. That's why you think the way you think. That's why you're unwilling, too fearful, plus your job, your income requires on all that theft and oppression for the most part. But I get why you don't want to fucking speak truth to reason to the Canadians. Because you fucks are all political propagandists. And, fortunately, most people are starting to come around and recognize that reality. Should the Ontario Liberal Party be investigated by police for influence peddling? That will seem like a far-fetched idea to some. After all, as Liberal Premier Kathleen Wynne keeps saying, everything her party and her cabinet members do to raise money conforms with the laws of the province. Who's been writing the laws for the province of Ontario for the last however long the Liberals have been in power. Oh, the Liberals? And yet somehow you're surprised, shocked that somehow they didn't write a law that will fuck themselves. They didn't write a law that will shoot themselves in the foot, right? Oh, how could this happen? Oh, man. I hope one of you fucks watch this video so you can recognize and realize just how stupid you really are. Or manipulative. You're either stupid or a manipulator. Either way, you'll get no respect from me and hopefully none of the rest of the sheeple. The sheeple are they're still scared, I get it. Still a little worried. Still have the reservations. They'll come around. That I am confident in. As long as the information age continues to exist in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, the innovators, the intellectual people in the liberty movement, the freedom fighters, yeah, they'll find a way to propagate the message of truth and liberty to them. As much as you fucks try to fight us, I get it. They will, but you fucks don't have the incentive. That's why you always lose. But the revelation this week that the Liberal Party sets massive fundraising quotas for cabinet ministers and then asks those ministers to hit up corporate and union stakeholders in the sectors overseen by their representative departments is too immense a breach of ethics to be swept under the table without further consequence. I mean, even ministers, right? You love the words they use. The double entendre, ministers, yeah? Statism is a religion. The prime minister or all the ministers of parliament, yeah, they're all just your religious, your political ideologues, your masters. But yeah, you just keep believing that, that they're your representatives, right? That they're just your servants. Ah, shit, man. Sometimes it's just too easy. There is, in fact, language in the criminal code that seems to apply to the Liberals' fundraising scheme. Even if this contention goes no further than this editorial, it is still evident of just how depraved the whole boondoggle really is. Yes, what the Liberals are doing may be legal, but only by the thinnest of margins. It's the thing when you're talking about legal nowadays. Legal, what legal means anyways. When people, I don't care if you're from the left, right, anything that has to do with the political spectrum, legal means what your political masters have decreed or dictated, right? So, hey, imagine, you know what? News alert. Trigger warning for all you fucking losers that don't want to understand reality or truth. Slavery was legal. Serfdom was legal. Child slavery was, and in certain countries still is, legal. When you're the fucks that get to write the laws, legality is completely subjective on the edicts of the preference of the ideology of the ruling class. When in the 21st century, most people should recognize that laws should be based on, just like with science, objective reason and logic. Laws should be all based on those principles, those foundational principles. But as we know, if that was to happen, well, there'd be no such thing as politics. There'd be no such thing as government. If we all just had to live under the same laws and abide by the same edicts, well, there'd be no need for central planners. There'd be no such thing as a ruling class and the serfs that have to live underneath those people and be subjugated to those edicts. That's just reality, folks. I'm helping to inform you people so that you'll better understand these fundamental principles and these important aspects of what laws and regulations truly represent. They're not the will of the people. They're the will of the ruling class, the central planners, the few hundred, or even, depending on the size of the country that you live on, the few hundred or the few thousand the minority in democracies, even though they pretend to represent a majority, it's still ruled by an elitist class of people in any geographical landmass. If they say it's legal, it's legal. If they say it's illegal, it's illegal. It has nothing to do with foundationally important principles or scientific equations. It's just whims. It's just, if I decided tomorrow, if I became part of the ruling class and I decided that, you know what, I don't like Keurig machines, therefore I'm going to make owning them illegal, well, that now becomes law if I say so. In a parliamentary system, because we have, that's the thing, I would have the whip, right? So any of my servients in the political realm, well, if they disagree with what I said, I'll just get my whip, right? That's what they call them, the whip. Hey, you get in line, motherfucker. I say so. You better get in line. Dictates. That's what we live under. The edicts and dictates of sociopaths and control freaks. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.